What in the world?
Push the button.
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to ShiftLess, the one and only podcast that is 1,028% all bicycles all the time. And
weather.
And weather. Weather is always a factor.
Sorry, I have a raspy voice today.
There are allergens in the air.
It's all this damn rain.
So much rain. So much rain.
Although it dried up last night, we had a really good ride.
Where'd y'all ride last night?
We took a pretty direct route into Denton, up Bonnie Bray and through campus and stuff, and then coming home, we went south on the path.
The trail?
No, the
paved trail.
Yeah, and then came up Teasley, or it's Swisher there, Swisher, and down to Old Alton and up and over Hilltop. So it was all path and paved.
Understood. I'm wanting to get a bicycle ride in myself today. I have no idea where. Everything on the way up, I'm looking to the left, to the right. It's standing water everywhere.
Have you seen the videos of right there at the Red River by Gainesville?
Mm-hmm.
The water's almost touching the bridge.
Yeah, it's just under the bridge.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Where were we last night where the water was so damn high? Oh, down by 24.
Bonnie Bray.
Bonnie Bray, yeah.
Yeah.
The old
bike path now, Bonnie Bray.
DJ Caleb jumping in there
Thanks,
without
Brad, for
an
ruining
introduction.
it.
Oh, my gosh.
I prefer the world where Caleb is not a guest, where he is just part of
How can I be a
our
guest
crew.
in my own house, dickhead?
Right. I mean, on the podcast.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer the world where you need no
So we are
introduction.
back to Rancho Wills today.
Yeah.
But it's not raining 2.5 inches in an hour.
That's true.
But there's 5.5 inches in the ground right now.
It's crazy.
It is. I walked outside yesterday, I took the trash out yesterday, and I stepped in the grass, and the grass squished.
Yeah.
My
sounded like-
backyard's a pond.
Is it really? Is it actually underwater?
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's typically that little creek that runs under the Bonnie Bray, the old road that's now the bike path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That creek is probably 15 feet wide, and it was
top
30 yards wide.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, that's Hickory Creek.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, I said for myself.
It was almost touching the bottom of the bridge.
Well, I've been through there on the motorcycle when it was over that bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We saw, we were headed up the hill towards Denton, towards Apogee, and there's this lady pulling a wheelbarrow up the hill. And I go, have you been putting all that water down there in that wheelbarrow?
She probably didn't appreciate you.
No, she started cracking up.
Oh, okay.
She was like, yeah, it's been a lot of work. It was so funny. Well, I don't know what you guys want to talk about today, but I have what I think is a very cool product that I just saw. I sent it. I don't know if I sent it to you guys.
I don't recall.
I didn't get
seeing
it. I never get
anything.
anything cool from you. So definitely either you're not cool or you didn't send it.
Oh.
Or it could be both.
So there is a company that just came out, and forgive me, I don't even know who the company is. They just released a flat pedal with
here we go.
with float.
Okay.
So it's got an
I'm listening.
It's got an elastomer system in the spindle, so the spindle and the pedal platform can move independently. So where it really makes a lot of sense is for guys that run downhill rigs and enduro and stuff, where if you're running a really tacky shoe, sticky shoe, and pedals with nice pins, and your foot really gets engaged, your foot doesn't move.
Right.
And so it's nice to have a little float in your pedal, much like your SPDs. When your foot's locked in, You have a little bit of float. It's a pretty cool thing. So,
but we don't know what company this is.
I'm looking right now.
Do we while we're looking right now, do we know a price point?
No. That I do not know. Hold up. I'm getting it.
Gracious.
I'm trying to get on the internet.
So, Caleb, give us a weather report while
You want me to do that? Okay, hold on. Let me
Here, I'll send this.
So I will give an update for the last week's weather. Just so much rain.
I'll give you the future.
So much rain. We're not going to be mountain bike riding anytime soon.
No, I don't think so.
Gravel riding is even questionable at the moment. We'll talk about it more later, but we did find a nice dry spot on Sunday that surprised me. Or was that Saturday? I've lost track. It's all a blur. Saturday. And do you not have interwebs connection?
I don't know what's going on.
Do you need the password again?
No, I don't think so.
One.
I don't think so.
Two.
It's not letting me share this.
Well, then just tell us about it. Use your words.
Well, I'll just let you guys look at this. It's just an Instagram clip.
Okay.
But I think it's really smart.
A flat pedal with float.
Uh-huh. Did you not hear what I just said?
I was not paying attention because as soon as you said flat pedal, I started looking at other things.
Well, that's why I was trying to give you why I think it's important.
Okay, Brad, repeat yourself because I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking this is over-engineered and doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Well,
but I want to listen to what you're saying.
Why don't you listen to the show?
Do you have somewhere more important to be? Do you have float on your SPD pedals?
On your cleats?
Built into your cleats? Yeah. So you feel trapped when your foot's just locked in. So when you ride a flat pedal that
Tell me how I feel.
That has engaged
Okay, I get what you're saying. That works for something where you were automatically attached.
So Caleb, can you take what you're looking at there and Googleize and find us what company this is and the price point for these pedals, please?
Yeah. Jamie, pull it up.
Here we go.
Brad
back to my original job.
Brad doesn't know how to work the internet.
It's called 8-degree pedal, I think. Innovation is rare. But it's called 8-degree pedal.
8-degree.
The number 8.
Yeah, 8-degree pedal. The first ever. Finally, 180 years later, we've reinvented the bike pedal.
Is that really their spiel?
You'll never guess how much float they have.
8 degrees.
Oh, I was going to go 9.
It's in the name, Proctor.
It goes to 11.
I mean, that's like saying after 300 years, we've reinvented the shovel. I mean, it doesn't need. I'm sorry, Brad, I love you, but if you want float in your pedal,
if you love me, there are no buts.
If you want float on your flat pedal, do you move your foot?
No, I think you're missing. You're still not listening to what I'm saying.
The pedal itself floats.
Yes.
The pedal itself floats on the spindle.
Right.
So not a fan.
So you don't have to unweight the pedal at all.
Still, here's the reason why. If you're putting torque down on a cleated pedal, there is no movement unless your foot moves. That pedal is 1-to-1 to that spindle and 1-to-1 spindle to the crank. There's no movement. But the fact that this flat pedal moves on the spindle, when you're putting torque down, there's going to be a little. It's like trying to climb a hill when your fork is not locked out. You're losing a little power because of the
debatable
movement.
whether that natural rotation might actually be
beneficial.
Yeah.
The other thing is the fact that moves around inside there makes me think that there's gaps and dirt's going to get in there.
Well, that's why it has a cover that they're showing him take off.
Okay, fine. It's the greatest thing ever.
Okay, there's probably room in between the polarities here, but anyway, what's the price point on this thing? And then I'll give my.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess it's somewhere in the 240.
I was gonna say 229.
So regular priced $245, currently on sale for $196.
So we're both wrong.
Yeah.
So try them out. And tell me I'm wrong. It's fine. I'm okay with being wrong. My initial, like, we all have to have, the whole point of this show is when we look at products, we have 3 initial opinions about it. My initial opinion is this is unnecessary.
You didn't even listen to me the first time. And then I tried to get into it the second time, and you still didn't let me finish what I was saying.
Look, I have a character to play.
Yeah.
There's expectations of me shitting on everything.
Well, when I get my raise, I'll give it to you.
Okay,
because
thanks.
you're doing great.
Okay, I'm shutting up. I'm drinking my coffee. Please tell me why I'm wrong.
What I'm saying is when you have a sticky shoe, looks like stealth rubber.
Yeah.
And you put ideally, if you're riding a good flat pedal setup, when you put your foot down, it should not budge until you unweight it and move it.
Right.
And there are times where you want your foot to be able to move a little bit, but you don't want to lose that traction with your pedal. And that's where I think this makes a lot of sense. I think that it's wild that it took this long to do this, because SPD, which is the other way that a lot of people ride bikes, have always had float in them. And it's something that...
Is it a feature or is it a bug?
I think it's a feature.
Yeah, it would have to be a feature because there's 2 different
you can
degreed cleats of float.
Understood, but was it a design flaw originally
that they marketed on?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that...
Possible.
I think that they probably... My gut instinct is that they felt that an engineered cleat with 0 tolerance was extremely dangerous. And so having the ability to have a little bit of wiggle room is keeping people's knees and ankles and feet
ultimately
together.
you have to have the wiggle room to disengage and engage to begin with.
Well, if there is no float, if there's 0 float, the slightest little kink of hitting a rock, your legs coming unclipped. So maybe that's a little bit of tolerance there.
I've never ridden SPD, so I can't.
Really? You've never been an SPD fan? Did you ever?
I've always been Crank Brothers.
Oh, Crank Brothers.
Until I went, until, and I'm the only one qualified to really chime in here because I'm the only one that's an active flats pedal user.
That's true. You are.
So
That's true.
Yep.
I really don't want to hear your bullshit because neither one of you has any idea what you're talking about on this subject. It's all me.
It doesn't stop me from talking about other shit that I don't know nothing about.
Please take the floor and explain to us. Then what is your thoughts on this thing?
I don't see any point in it, quite frankly, because what my experience has been so far on flats is that no matter what pedal you're on, after about 3 rotations, you go into a natural float mode, irregardless. I'm doing that just for you, Bradford.
Thank you.
Good job.
But I'm happy to be proven wrong. So if 69 Degrees wants to send us some sample pedals, we'll try them out.
I think they're smart, but I also have to say that I don't think you're the intended audience.
No shit.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick.
No.
This time I'm not trying to be a dick.
I think you're right. I think it's meant for the downhill enduro bra crowd.
Yeah. Where
specifically the downhill enduro bike.
That's very possible. But I think it's more intended for the guys that are, running a serious setup, and I think it's going to be beneficial. I don't know. I expect to see more companies doing something similar.
I will bet, if you're willing to take that bet, I will bet you $100 right now you see nobody else do this.
Oh, I'll take that bet all day long.
All
yeah.
Right. What's our time frame?
I give it a year and a half.
18 months.
18 months.
All right.
What's the bet?
That there's going to be more.
Are you here today?
No, he's not.
Yeah, I am. I'm just checking on things.
Did you clock in?
Not with us, he didn't.
No,
he's working for the man.
You double dipping son of a bitch.
No, I'm looking at bike stuff. I'm just not paying attention to
flat pedal
flatpedalchat.com.
You're such a flat pedal denier.
I am. Show me the evidence. Do your own research, man.
Have you tried flats?
Stop listening to mass media.
No, seriously, have you tried
I
flats?
started on flats.
Okay.
Yeah.
And since you started to learn stuff, have you tried them again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I've ridden a couple of friends' bikes, dicked around to ride in.
Okay.
Look, full disclosure, I don't mean to shit on flat pedals. I don't really mean that. That's just fun to do because it's fun. But if it works for you, and if your body tells you you're getting better power transfer or you feel more comfortable on the bike, that is the 100% pedal you should go for. I simply have a hard time believing that the umbrella statement that you can get just as much power consistently on flat pedals as you do clipped in. I just have a hard time accepting that. Even if the evidence, someone shows me that, like, I'm being closed-minded about it, but I know based on how I ride, I can clearly see a difference and feel it.
I get that, and I don't dispute. Trust me, there are definitely distinct advantages to clipless pedals. I am still a firm believer that most mountain bike riders should be riding clipless.
I think everybody should learn on flats.
Yeah.
And then transition to clipless if they want to. I do believe that the benefits of clipless are far overhyped. I don't disagree that it has an advantage. Being clipped in has an advantage, but I don't think it's as advantageous as everybody perceives it to be.
Well, Kevin sort of mentioned on this. I think it depends on the discipline too. Like when Wood Ape Ramble 2, when Tiramisu showed up on his Monet or Money or whatever bike, custom hand-built, beautiful bikepacking rig on flats. And I mean, this guy was on a Continental road team. I mean, he's
a fucking
legit
animal.
Performer. And he goes, no, I like flats doing bikepacking. So I see, I mean, who's to say next year I'm not doing Tour Divide on flats? Maybe I decide to do that. I know that from I do see the validity in if you're on a bike for 15 to 20 hours a day, those clipped-in pedals start to. I mean, your shoes start to bother you a little bit, but maybe that's just because you're doing what you're riding a bike. A lot of people like the flats on these long distance things. Maybe that's the best way to go. I don't know.
I think that's, for me, that's a really good breakdown. Is bikepacking makes more sense.
That was Kevin.
That was my turn. Bikepacking makes more sense with flats, generally speaking, particularly if there are going to be regular dismounts and hike-a-bikes in the process. Because, hey, it just lets you wear the shoes you need to wear for the whole day.
Yeah.
And downhilling. I mean, in super tech, descending and
isn't that still split even there? Where
it's a lot more flat than clipless. In fact, what you're really seeing is the guys that are coming from like cross country and transitioning into downhill are the holders on to clipless versus the guys that started.
And I can't speak to that discipline because I don't have any experience in it. So I'm not going to say.
I want to know what Justin Carey's thoughts are on these pedals because he's
a performer, man. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Or, is the argument, imagine if he was in clipless? I don't know.
Have you even read the Flat Pedal Manifesto?
I believe you read portions of it.
Did you listen to it 90 minutes straight of it on one of our first podcasts?
Yeah, I did, but
uninterrupted.
But that was a while back. I don't remember.
So James is the one that evangelized flat pedals to me, and I mean,
from Pedal Innovations, is that the episode? Yes, I definitely listened to that.
But I mean, I felt like I was almost brainwashed by the time we finished our in-person conversation.
It felt a little more evangelical than academic, if I were to be honest. That's not a reflection of you guys, but I just think that
he's got a lot of charts and shit.
No, I get it. I get it.
I mean,
you know what would be an interesting conversation?
What?
James and Josh Portner in the same room.
And Justin.
We're going to have the first shiftless debate.
Who's going to moderate it? There's somebody, we don't know anybody smart enough to moderate.
Rich Waltzman moderate.
Can he moderate it?
No, actually, Dylan Johnson is moderator.
Oh wow, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
both of you guys are slow. Flat pedals are stupid in the wind tunnel. God, can't even believe we're having this conversation. Do they even make aero flat shoes?
Sorry guys, I can't make it. I gotta have my tonsils removed again.
Damn. Caleb's in a mood today.
No,
is.
not at all. I'm trying to be funny.
I should have given you a hug when I came in.
What are you talking about? I'm in a great mood. No, really am. I'm just trying to add flavor and flair.
Spiciness.
Little cayenne pepper.
Caliente.
I'm just trying to pepper the gumbo. I do have a funny story.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So Monday, in the break of the weather, Brad and I had monitored it kind of all day. When the rain kind of finally sort of moved out, I started riding to his house, and it was cool but not cold. But it was so damn humid that
Humidity.
I was so humidity.
Yeah.
Just lots of sweat, but cool sweat. So I get to Brad's house, and he comes out, and he's wearing a base layer. And I said, buddy, you are not going to need that. Like, you're going to absolutely roast. It's a swamp out here. So he starts to take his base layer off in the garage, and Paula sticks her head out of the door to say hi or say something. And she goes, now I'm going to mess it up because I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said something like, look, Caleb's not being a little bitch wearing a base layer.
But you run hotter than I do, too.
A little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say so. But anyway, it was just funny because she was being so sweet to me. Hey, how are you? She gave me a hug, and then she goes, look at you being a bitch.
She's so cute.
Did they have a good night, good evening when they went? Didn't they go? Oh, that was last night.
Yeah,
they went
night. Oh, yeah. They always have fun. They're
kitty catting around.
They're ridiculous.
Yep. Have you been to Union Bear in Denton yet?
Not yet. It is on the to-do list.
Yeah, we went again last night. So I think it's my third time to this one. I've been to the original a couple times back when I worked in downtown Dallas, and then I went to the one in Frisco a couple times, and this was my third time at the one in Denton, and it's pretty consistent.
Yeah. They do a really good job.
I don't drink all the fancy fussy beers they do, but their Mexican lager is fantastic. If you just like regular, if you like BEER beer, it's good.
That will interest my wife, and that's what I've been looking to do, a date with the wife up there. She would appreciate that, and if they've got a good Mexican lager, that's right up her alley.
And they have a light too, which is it was a little too light, the Mexican light, but anyway,
you should date that woman.
Mm-hmm.
She should date me. Mm-hmm. She'd be lucky.
Date her good.
Keep chasing her.
Oh.
Hey, how was the net this weekend?
The net was phenomenal. I was absolutely shocked how good the net was this weekend. We did.
In what sense? Like how it's weathered the rain?
Yeah, as much as they got even more rain up there than we had down here.
That seems fairly typical too.
And so the section of the Northeast, the net is the Northeast Texas Trail. It's an old rail bed that portions of it have been converted to multi-use trail in various degrees of upkeep. The sections we did were out of Paris. And the first loop we did was Paris to Roxton and back to Paris. Roughly 32-mile round trip, but it took about 6 miles of town roads to get to the net. And then the second, and that was basically going west-southwest. And the second run we did was from Paris to Bagwell. And that was trail the whole way, but maybe half of that stretch was paved.
Yeah. So y'all started in Paris, went south, turned around, went back to Paris, and then went north and came back. So you did okay.
Yeah, total 70-something miles.
Nice. I don't remember. I know, and I've ridden on that trail 3 times, 2 for sure, maybe 3. That section from Paris to Roxton, which is the section that has the paved? What section is that?
That's Paris to Blossom now. It used to be Paris to Reno.
Yeah.
They've expanded it from Reno to Blossom. It's now all paved. And then after Blossom, it becomes unpaved all the way to Clarksville. And I prefer the unpaved stuff, but I get that other people want to ride on pavement. All of the stuff, once we got on the net going towards Roxton, was unpaved. And the difference between that section out of Paris going both ways and the Farmersville section up to Ladonia, the Farmersville to Ladonia section is not very well kept to begin with, and the bridges are still the old railroad bridges with the cross ties and no decking.
Can't really ride across it. You have to walk it.
Brad rides across it.
You can ride across them.
Yeah.
There is a high degree of penalty for failure.
Yeah. You have to stay in it.
Are the rails still on it, or just the cross beams?
Just the cross members.
They've gotten the
That's
the iron off.
Yeah, that's what they call the Chaparral Trail, Farmersville to Ladonia, the Paris sections and everything to Roxton to Clarksville, and then what goes beyond all the way to New Boston, has real bridges that are maintained and put in place by TxDOT, I think.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So it's a really nice ride. It is a rail bank trail though, and for me, it's one of those things that riding it out, that's really cool. Riding it back, it's like, I just saw this.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of the out and back of it, but going down it, and particularly when everything else was literally underwater, on that 72 miles or whatever we rode, there was one mud hole and one muddy spot. Everything else was flawless.
Dried out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So if you're looking for somewhere to ride when everything's underwater, that was better than expected.
What's next on your calendar?
We're supposed to do a Jacksboro thing this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Not sure at the moment. Kind of.
Is that where we used to do Stagecoach?
Yeah, Dirty Fury.
Yeah, Dirty Fury.
Dirty Fury Stage Rush.
Or Stage Rush. That's right.
Yeah.
Not Stagecoach. Okay.
Yeah, we used to do an actual stage.
I remember that. That was
race.
fun. I did 2 days of the 3 one time.
Yeah. And that was one that when COVID came into the mix, we couldn't get permission to use the parks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even after COVID was out of the mix, there was a hangover period with a lot of these small towns in Texas that during COVID, they didn't have to process permits and events and stuff like that. And I think a lot of them figured out, because the revenue they get from, it's like a $75 permit or something like that. The revenue doesn't cover anything, but it's a pain in the ass for them for their paperwork and having people on staff and everything like that. So a lot of the small towns after COVID were like, you know what? We don't miss not having to do that stuff. So that we had a couple years where we couldn't get permission to do stuff, or nobody would give us, and it wasn't just us, it was just the way things were going. Oh, well, you could do that on a first come, first served basis, but we're not going to allocate this pavilion to you or whatever else.
Put forth a ton of effort.
Right. And I get it, but I couldn't operate that way on events. It's like, well, if I say I'm going to be somewhere May 10th, I need to be there.
Right.
May 10th sort of thing.
Yeah. Caleb and I were talking about that just on Monday, as a matter of fact, like all these things that I read this article recently about not everything, but all these things that have changed during COVID and never went back. We were talking specifically about 24-hour operations on various retail locations, where people would work, you'd have 3 8-hour shifts to cover a 24-hour. And a lot of times they just eliminated the nighttime
shift
and a lot of them never came back. I'm happy to see paper menus back in restaurants.
Oh my gracious. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
That's and the ridiculous part was they would give you the QR code, go to the menu, but just be aware half that stuff's not there, or we've got other things. Look at our specials board.
And that's so as a chef, I kind of appreciated the digital menu. It seemed like we're looking into the future a little bit. And then from the chef's perspective, I thought it was cool because you could change your menu.
Sure.
No problem. You don't have to print new menus and everything.
Hypothetically,
Right.
That's my. It's like,
Right.
wait a minute. Why is it harder for you guys to update the online menu
Right.
than print paper menu? That
Right.
doesn't make sense.
Because Caleb didn't come in today.
You know, a lot of
Caleb's triple timing on the computer there.
a lot of businesses that focus around these digital restaurant experiences thrived and made a lot of money and expanded because of. That's what happened with my company. It just so happened that 4 or 5 of our main clients benefited from COVID in the shift of, now they had to, from their end, they had to invest a lot of money in what we do, but it caused us to grow. We almost tripled in size because of all the work.
Right.
The only, and I agree with you, Brad, I liked, or at least that was a way to keep the restaurants open. My only thing towards it was like the first thing people did was sit down at a dinner table and they immediately, and I get that. But most of the time you look and then you put your phone away and done. But then you want to order dessert or another drink, you got to pick it back up.
Yeah.
A little bit of a disruption, but you know, the crazy thing is they didn't want us using menus, but yet who knows how many people rolled the silverware and rolled it in a napkin and put it on. I get it, but
it was mental gymnastics.
It was
best,
trying to, you know, you think about it and you go, is this really any better? I mean, I'm still sitting 3 feet away from someone else who just sneezed.
I guess I never put those pieces together that we went electronic menu to stop the spread of germs.
Yeah, because of handling menus.
I guess I thought it was more along the lines of, well, things are changing every day, so paper menus don't make sense now.
No, it was to keep people from having to sanitize menus.
Gotcha. I guess
laminate all their menus.
But see, I kind of thought that already took place. But I guess if you go into a really nice restaurant and they have paper menus.
That's what I was thinking, that we were already in QR menu mode prior to COVID.
There were some places that were starting to do that, but it wasn't a necessity.
That just rocketed.
That took it to the next level.
And I bet a lot of those restaurants were told by the county.
Yeah.
This is, if you want to operate, this is one of the check boxes. No more menus. You have to do this.
And there's places like Lakeside Tavern still, they don't have a beer menu. It's on a QR code.
Something like that. I wouldn't want to say beer is market based, but sometimes you may get a keg in something that this month or this week that you normally do, and you can easily put it on.
That's what I'm saying. I like an electronic menu if it's a dynamic menu.
Yeah.
But they're static. They don't change. They don't get updated, and that's the beating of it.
Yeah, it's contrary to the benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole reason to have that is so you can change it on the fly. And it's funny because like Elm Fork they have a printed paper whiskey menu, and their whiskey selection changes daily. Like they would benefit from having a QR based menu, you know, but whatever. Back to bikes.
Speaking of digital menus, I didn't know this. This is news. Allied has moved its production to Asia.
We knew that.
We knew that was coming?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. They had already. It says the article on Bike Rumor says that they had already been planning it for a year. Obviously, the big elephant in the room is, well, I guess we'll see how that works out. I did not know this, but they do manufacture all their linkages and stems and other metal engagement parts in-house. But frames and all that stuff get made overseas and then shipped over, and they paint them and assemble them. Everything's painted and assembled.
Right.
In Rogers. But, yeah, man, what bad timing for that, huh?
Right.
Oof.
I saw Canyon is now selling some of their bikes on Amazon.
Are they?
Really?
I missed that.
So
what, they went REI and now Amazon, right?
Were they REI?
Yes.
I thought I saw something about them going through REI.
But, and forgive me for my historical recollection of Canyon, but Canyon originated as it was only available in stores, right?
When it came to the U.S., it was a retail bike in Germany, and when they extended the U.S., because for a while they started building quite a bit of following, and they started getting more and more popular in it. And the only way to get one in the United States was to have one shipped over. Like, you couldn't directly order it from Canyon; you'd have to find a bike shop to send.
Right.
It was hard to get it, and then
they went direct to consumer.
It was always direct here.
Oh, okay.
When
in the U.S., it's the only model they've had is direct to
Yeah,
consumer.
Okay.
they
I couldn't remember if it started as retail and then went direct, or
they were the
started as
first
direct.
major bike brand to do that. It just so happened that they entered the U.S. market.
That just makes my
That
makes
with
me
that
happy.
model, yeah, that looks good, doesn't it?
But correct me if I'm wrong. I may be misremembering, but they kind of did the Trek store model where it was Canyon bikes in Canyon stores. It was still in a way direct. They weren't going.
Oh, they had Canyon stores.
That's my understanding.
That I,
But
that I don't.
Okay.
I think that's the way it worked. It was kind of like an Apple Store type situation for
yeah, I
Canyon
don't-
bikes.
I don't know.
They sure as hell. They have Canyon bikes on Amazon. Look at that. There are specific models with specific builds.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, it's not the full range.
Yeah. So where Canyon got so popular, or the awareness in the United States, was that the dollar was strong against the mark at that time, and so it was actually making sense for people to import Canyons from a bike shop in Europe and pay the shipping and everything, because they could get what was basically an $8,000 specialized for $4,000.
Yeah.
Was kind of the idea.
Well, I brought all that up to just pose this question. Is that a brilliant move on Canyon's part, or is it a last-ditch effort?
Amazon,
Yeah.
I would say it's a desperation move, is my guess.
That's what I didn't want to lead the witness, but that's kind of what I think.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
It's I'm under the impression that Canyon is one of those companies that's up against it,
Yeah.
not just from the tariff perspective. They were up against it from the whole Bike-mageddon situation.
The podcast that you turned me on to, where they interviewed the guy from Canyon, and he was talking about the production costs of setting up molds for forks and frames and all that. And speaking of which, I saw
That was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
yeah.
I can't. I'm too old to remember
But
shit.
I wasn't
Details.
trying to ask you to recall the name of the podcast. I was just asking you to recall the content of the podcast. They were just talking about the tooling costs.
Yeah, I would assume that was Geek Warning from Escape Collective.
It was. But speaking of which, I just saw a video, and once again, I didn't send it to you guys. Sorry, I consume a lot of content. If I sent y'all everything that I watched that I thought was interesting, you would hate me more than you do.
Consume is a strong word. I'm going to go with skim, but
Yeah.
continue.
But there's a company now that is doing a modular carbon layup form. So essentially, from the same form, you can do a 52 all the way up to a 60 frame. You just take different pieces out and change the geometry, if you will. And so you don't have to retool every time you want to
Everything,
make a
yeah.
frame.
Yeah.
So I think it looked like it was well thought out, well executed, and duplicatable. And I think we're probably going to start seeing that make carbon prices come down on frames, at least in some realms. Maybe it's wishful thinking.
Maybe. I mean, I think what's going to make carbon frame prices go down is, quite frankly, competition and survival at this point. Somebody's...
Have you watched any of the China Bike Show
No.
that's going on right now?
No, I have not.
It's all carbon all the time.
Okay.
I mean, there was...
Because aluminum and steel frames can be built anywhere.
Well,
We don't.
carbon can be built anywhere.
Yeah, but
too.
it's built better there. They can't really claim that they can build a better of aluminum.
built cheaper there. That's
that's true. Yeah,
Historically,
sorry.
that's been the whole thing.
Apparently, GBL is the
Better
Capital
Better's
owns.
pretty accurate as well, because
When you build, it's the 10,000 hours rule, right?
that's where all the skilled labor is over there.
Yeah.
All the skilled innovation is over there. That's what people don't comprehend. Oh, hey, let's just open up a factory here. It's like the skill set isn't here,
Right,
and you can't just flick a switch and people know what they're doing.
right. It's been cultivated for decades.
Decades.
If this percentage number is correct, it's maybe it's surprising. I don't know. take a guess at, so GBL Capital owns the Canyon brand.
Mm-hmm.
Their claim, I'm looking at what their claim is of what the direct to consumer for premium bikes market share. Premium bikes, not.
Might say that again, but slower.
Yeah.
Take a guess at what GBL states as Canyon's percentage of ownership of direct to consumer for premium bikes. So what percentage of the overall premium bike direct to consumer do you think that they
internationally or United States?
I don't even know what you're asking. I don't understand.
I'm looking for a percentage number. Do they own 20% of the market, 30%
of all
of the
the premium bikes that are direct to consumer?
Only the direct consumer bikes.
No shops.
Okay.
What percentage
are Canyon?
Okay.
I'm gonna guess they're saying 37%.
I'm gonna say 30%.
50%. 49.8.
But who else does direct to consumer?
But again, is that USA or is that international?
It says world's largest direct to consumer manufacturer premium bikes, 49%.
But who are they competing with? I mean,
well,
they kind of have their own category.
See, and that gets, and the direct to consumer is pretty much a USA thing still at this time.
And is Loft a direct to consumer?
Loft is direct to consumer.
But they didn't start like that, right?
No, they did not.
Okay. But that's my question stands. Who do they see as their competition?
I'm looking that up.
Because it's almost like they have their own category. And if they're only 50% of their own category, what are they doing?
But currently Specialized does sell direct to consumer.
That's fair.
And Trek kind of does.
But I feel
Scott kind of does.
But I feel like the people that are buying high-end bikes direct to consumer is way smaller.
I mean, Canyon's definitely the big fish in the pond. There's no doubt about
like,
that.
When I think about Specialized, if I think somebody's going to drop, just let's call it 7,500 to 10,000 on either a high-end mountain bike, cross-country-ish bike, or a high-end road bike, I think that consumer wants to go to a shop. You know, I think it's a very niche market of a guy that's been cycling for decades and has
the direct to consumer market is $2,000 to $5,000 bikes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh wow, couldn't have been more accurate about the United States being the biggest purchaser of direct to consumer.
Yeah.
So much so, as of 2024, the approximate value of direct to consumer bikes is 11.6 billion.
Okay.
With 11 billion.
Wow.
Oh wait.
No.
Hold on a second. No. I misread this. I don't understand this. So globally, it's 11.6, expected to reach 11 billion by 2032 in North America. So I don't know what the North American breakdown is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This says China accounts for.
Well, Canada's in North America.
China accounts for 35% of the market. So the rest of the globe would be the difference. So here are the main, you're asking about what are the other ones, and some of these are surprising. So Canyon's number one, obviously. I'm trying to find the actual percentages of each, but I can't find that. So it's Canyon number one. Number two is YT.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Germany.
I forgot about YT.
Seems like those are like aggressive enduro, downhill, and trail, which is pretty specific.
But that's really kind of how Canyon got started, too.
Well, that's true. You're exactly right. Then, surprise, number three, Fazari.
Okay, not a surprise.
Lifetime warranty for their frames, which is, especially that they're carbon. They're out of Utah.
I thought they were out of Arkansas.
Fazari?
No.
Just says Utah. Coming in number four out of Colorado, Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by out of Tennessee.
Man, we're really starting to get there's a huge disparity between Canyon and Alchemy on number of units sold.
Exactly. Like, when's the last time you saw an Alchemy? How about, matter of fact, I saw for the first time ever, and haven't seen one since, an Obed. That's what we had on one of the Shimano shoots. It was an Obed out of Tennessee, which is a good looking bike, by the way.
Obeds are great bikes.
Yeah. And then lastly, I don't know this bike brand very well, which is Aventon.
Oh, yeah.
Aventon.
E-bikes and urban bikes.
Yeah.
It's mass market.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's weird. I
Man,
specifically asked for
I'm
premium.
I'm sticking to my guns and saying the biggest chunk of the direct to consumer market is United States by a wide margin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you're off at all. Speaking of shiny new bikes, I've already told Caleb this, but
I don't remember.
our buddy, Mr. Ryan Redmond, is the proud new owner of Specialized top of the line e-bike, the Levo, whatever it is, SL or something. But the one that you can toggle between class 1 and class 3.
I believe you. I don't know the specifics on.
Well, it's one of the first bikes that I'm aware of where you can change it on the fly from class 1 to class 3. So class 1 caps out at 20.
Right.
Class 3 caps out at 28.
I mean, I can do that with mine.
But you can't set the governor to 20.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
But this one goes to 20.
I didn't know that. Okay. Well, there was a big stir amongst people, you know how people will bitch about no matter what, about this because they're like, oh, well, now people are going to have class 3 mountain bikes on the trail and it's going to make it dangerous and all this. But then Specialized quickly said, no, it's so people can use the class 3 to commute to the trail so they're not a burden on traffic, and then they can downgrade to class 1 for trail use. So I just thought it was interesting.
To give an example, I mean, I'll give my suppositions on what maybe a difference might be, but I could be wrong. So, like, obviously with my Tributary, I have 4 boost modes.
Mm-hmm.
Eco is the least assistance, and the
but it still goes to 28 on Eco.
No, well, let me tell my story.
Okay.
And Turbo is the biggest boost. Okay. I can program in the app all the parameters for each of those, and I can set a top speed.
I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is different.
That's what I'm getting. So what is the difference?
So in this, in the on the fly or whatever you want to call it, the tiny little control panel that you're going through and using a little toggle on the bar to navigate, you can literally go from class 1 to class 3, which sets your top speed 20 or 28, and then you have all your variable modes within those 2 settings.
But what's the difference?
You don't have to go into an app and change parameters or anything. Everything's already set up in there.
Oh.
What I'm saying is you go 1 or 3, and then you have Eco on both and all the way up to Turbo on both.
Okay. I get that, but if I have...
I'm not saying it's the best thing ever.
No, I'm just saying I still don't see what the...
From what I understand, it's
from
the first bike that has...
The earth-shattering aspect of that is, so I have...
There's not another United States e-bike that is class 3 that is high-end.
Okay. But all I'm saying is that essentially every e-bike out there can accomplish the same thing, and maybe...
Not without being jailbroke.
It's not jailbreaking, though. It's the regular app that comes with the bike. All I'm saying is...
your bike is a class 3. That's why.
Right.
Most mountain bikes that are sold in the United States are class 1. Canada is class 3.
Backwards.
But there aren't any class 3 mountain bikes that are...
You sure about that?
I'm not 100% sure. I always like to talk just random out of my ass. I don't know.
It's like it's throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks, right?
The amount of information I don't know about e-bikes could fill a book.
Yep. Same.
We need to get you and Rich Waldschmidt together first.
That was my Rich Waldschmidt quote. That was my ode to Rich Waldschmidt. No, I guess I don't know, but I know that it made a lot of stink when they first announced it.
So where I was going with what could possibly be a distinction here, I don't know that this is the case, is hypothetically speaking, even though I have those settings on my bike, since it's labeled as class 3, even if I have things set where I can't go over 20 miles an hour, if I go somewhere where class 3 bikes aren't permitted, technically I'm still on a class 3 bike. possibly Specialized found a way to
Loophole the system.
to still be able to maintain the Class 1 designation for the bike. That's the
I don't know.
all I'm getting at. That's the only real deal advantage I could see from that type of approach. And I think it's all going to be moot within the next 2 years anyway, because we're at that next phase of e-bike legislation where I think they're finally figuring out that if it's a pedal assist bike, it doesn't really matter. What needs to be addressed are the electric motorcycles that are still classified as e-bikes.
Yeah. We dropped that Suron last night, didn't we, Caleb?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Them boys got dropped.
Yep.
Was
Like a bad day.
Was the battery low or something?
Nah.
I don't know. There were other more encumbered travelers with the Suron. The Suron was the fastest of this pack of.
Gotcha.
It was kids on electric scooters, and it was just kids. But
Someone yelled something about slow down, old man. I don't know.
But yeah,
Get off my lawn.
I guess they're about to put a bill through Texas legislature to maybe finally allow e-bikes on Texas state parks trails. So.
I think it's inevitable. I mean, whether it happens this year or 5 years from now,
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's grown so much it's at the point now where they're just alienating a lot of revenue of coming in to pay to use their trails.
80% of the bicycle market right now is e-bikes.
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So that is now another thing. A headline I saw today that sparked my interest. It's not going to mean a whole lot to you guys yet, but I'm going to make it mean something to you somewhere down the road. Down in the Big Bend region, Black Gap wilderness management areas, Rich's and mine's little honeycomb hideout down there that we absolutely love that nobody goes to, and here I am broadcasting it.
What's the GPS coordinates real quick?
It's on the other side of the mountains from Big Bend National Park. So when you're going south on Old Ore Road and all those mountains over, if you go over those mountains, you're in the Black Gap.
So it's on the Marathon side?
Marathon. So when you go south from Marathon, the road to the right goes to Big Bend National Park, and the road to the left, there's a fork in the road that goes to Black Gap Wilderness.
Yeah, that's over by the crater.
Is that where you told me that Ron Wadley joined you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an amazing area. Well, there was a story today that towards the south end of it, on the east side of the road, was still some private property or private ranch land, and that has been acquired by the state and is going to become part of the wildlife management area. So that whole corridor down there now is going to be Black Gap Wildlife Management Area. And
very cool.
I like it better than all the other stuff down there because it's just
That's saying something.
It's a little hidey hole that we have all to ourselves.
Speaking of which, Wadley's moving to New Mexico.
He is moving. Have a meeting with him this afternoon.
Tell him I said hello.
I will. I most assuredly will.
And tell him don't cut down the tree.
Don't cut down.
He'll know what I mean.
Okay. I don't know what you mean, but I believe you. I believe you.
He'll know exactly what I mean. Tell him don't let it.
So, basically everybody we know is leaving Texas at one point or another.
Which is funny because everybody else is just coming into Texas.
When do you guys move?
Man, I really love it here.
I do too. Kay and I have talked about it. You know, her mom, her family's in Baton Rouge. Her mom's not doing that great, is quite elderly. And then my parents are starting to get to that tipping point. My parents are in great health. Point I'm making is we've kind of made a decision that if we move, we have to be within a driving distance from our parents.
Yeah.
We don't want to, first off, I'll never be able to drag Kay to Colorado. She likes the ocean and I like the mountains, so we have to make a compromise.
We can do both in California.
I'm not moving to California.
Oh, no,
and I'm not moving to Florida. I'm not moving to Mississippi. And I'm not moving to Alabama. So
yeah.
We've talked about the Rockport, Port Port Aransas, Corpus
Mhm.
Christi area. I like Corpus.
Yeah.
That whole like Mustang Island and all that stuff is fantastic. My compromise with her though is if you drag me down there to move, I get a boat.
Yeah.
Period.
Center console.
Center console, skiff style.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Skinny water.
Yeah, get out there, redfish. That's the only way I'm getting down there. I'm not moving down there without sitting on the water
And
with
an
a
8
boat.
weight.
And I got one, buddy.
Yeah.
But I'll get another one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
The real thing is, you know, every time I think about moving, I fucking hate moving. And my whole family is just hoarders. We have so much crap. I don't want to move it. But the other thing is, you know, you've lived in your house for how long?
25 years.
And it's at least tripled in value? At least.
Roughly.
Yeah. But when you move, you've got to replace it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, like, my house is worth a lot of money, but I'm not going to
Then you got to move into something else somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's not going to be close to what I have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I get that.
Yeah, you can't, like, this house is almost tripled in value.
yeah,
We couldn't sell this house
and buy something.
and buy the exact same house and be able to afford it.
Right.
Not going to happen.
I couldn't afford the house I live in
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, I'm going to take this a completely different direction.
Okay.
I just started following a guy that on Instagram that sold all his belongings, quit his corporate job, cashed in his 401k, and bought a boat and is sailing from Oregon to Hawaii.
Okay.
That has always been my dream, was to get both of my kids out of the house, get them self-sufficient, sell my house, not spend all my money buying a boat, but buying a boat and just sailing for like 5 years. Just living on a boat, doing boat life and fishing and, you know, going in a dock and catching a bartending gig or a cooking gig or something and just being just nomadic almost, you know, and then figuring out where I want to live and then just setting up shop somewhere.
Yeah, I would be fine with the nomad life, not on a boat though.
Yeah.
It would be the RV approach somehow. Or
And I've
another.
entertained that as well, you know.
I mean, ultimately, it's why everyone we know is moving from Texas. I mean, I'm still like to ride bikes, so I want to go places where the bike riding's cool.
Yeah.
Ultimately, is what that would boil down to.
Yeah. And that is one of the beauties of Texas is you can ride 11 months out of the year.
That is that is the advantage of riding in Texas.
Mm-hmm. But our terrain is somewhat limited.
It's not the highest quality riding, generally speaking.
But we also don't take advantage of some of our local trails, quote unquote local trails, that are what we yearn for. You know, like Possum Kingdom is a great trail network.
Well,
Cross Timbers is a great trail. You know,
I'll be perfectly honest with you. The biggest awakening for me every time I leave Texas is just how insane our traffic is. Not just in the metro mess. Even when we get in the rural areas.
Oh yeah, and
the
it's
traffic
only
is
getting worse.
nuts.
Yeah,
and I can go to Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, and even in bigger towns, and the traffic isn't as stupid in the bigger towns here as it is in the small as it is in the small towns here. It's and let alone if you actually do get out in a rural area in those other states, there is no traffic.
Yep.
And they don't have the 85-mile-an-hour farm-to-market roads or anything like that.
Going back to your boat store real quick, when Kay and I were we vacationed in Pensacola a couple of years ago, and we were, by the way, if you're a dog fan, Pensacola's a great area. They have 2 dog beaches.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not very many places like that, and they're all on the island there.
There's some in California. There's some in Galveston.
Yeah. Texas, you can take dog on beach. Anyway, point I'm getting at is that we were on the South Dog Beach in Pensacola, and we were sitting around, and that's also a good place to go because unless you have a dog, most people don't go there, so it's typically not very
Yeah.
busy. There happened to be a couple that were retiree age, and we started kind of chatting them up. And just, hey, just friendly conversation back and forth. Turns out this guy did what your friend did. He got both of his daughters out of college on their own, sold a bunch of investments, bought a sailboat, had been spent a year rebuilding this sailboat because he goes, I didn't have a lot of money to buy a really nice one, and plus I just wanted something to do. I'm retired. And all along, he's like, yeah, I think he said they were going to sail to, where did he say they were going to sail to? Cancun maybe or something? I don't know. Like they were going to go somewhere in Mexico or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, so you have a lot of sailing experience? He goes, no.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you don't know how to sail? He goes, no. I don't even know how to rebuild a boat, but I'm learning. And I thought that was like, that depends on your mindset. That straddles the line between adventurous and stupid. But and it's a gray area in between, and it's only stupid if it doesn't work out. And I thought, how cool is that? This guy has no clue how to build a boat.
We
but
do
he's
have a
doing
local expert on that range.
Who's that?
Dave Neves.
Yeah.
Is he a sailboat dude?
No, that.
Oh, he is that guy.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to go do this thing with no knowledge. I'll just show up and figure it out as I go. I love that, though.
I was just going to say, like, some people are encumbered by ignorance and some people are fueled by it. Like, if I don't know how to do something, like, I'm the guy that if I don't know how to do something and I figure out I don't know how to do it, then the first thing I want to do is figure it out. Other people are like, well, I don't know how to do that. And that's it. That's where the conversation ends.
Yeah.
Then there's other people that don't know how to do it. They still try it, but they're perfectly happy learning the hard way.
Yeah.
That's the one I can't relate to. It's like, I'm happy learning new things, but I need to learn how to do it.
But in the same kind of thought process, I don't know how to say it right. I am the guy that I love to share my mistakes. Yeah. Because
boy, do you make a lot to share.
But hey,
half of our conversations are based around your mistakes.
It could fill volumes.
My favorite. Oh, I could fill an encyclopedia set with the mistakes that I've made. But I'm a firm believer that you learn from mistakes, and they don't have to be your mistakes. Learn from other people's mistakes because they cost you less.
I am never touching a potato gun. I learned that.
I have forgotten about that.
You
don't know the potato gun story.
That needs to be a decal on the back of the truck. I've never touched a potato gun. Can I have the story? Can we tell it?
No, we can't.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, can we?
Yeah, we had a wrench night. I was in my current house, and I had wanted to build a potato gun. Chaos, I think, had a potato gun, which doesn't even make sense. And so I wanted to build a potato gun, and we were going to have a wrench night, and there wasn't a lot of wrenching needed. I think it had been a rainy season, so
it was a rainy night.
Yeah, and so we had done multiple wrench nights, and I think I made gumbo, and we had like, I don't know, 6 or 8 guys over, and I had bought all the stuff to make a potato gun, pipe glue and everything. That was me, all PVC. Mm-hmm. And I had bought I forgot what you call it, a Vizio, the electronic igniter for a grill,
Yeah.
And so I glued up the combustion chamber, the glue and the primer and everything, and sealed it all up. And before I put the barrel on,
this was a Class 3 potato gun.
Yes, it was.
Oh, can you change it mid shot?
No,
you can go into the app. You can go into the app. So it's
Bluetooth.
So it's basically the same thing.
Oh, it's an e-potato gun.
Yeah. So before I put the barrel on, I go, oh, well, I'm going to make sure that this igniter works. So me and my brilliance looks into it and clicks it, and the fumes
from the
blew this fucking fireball
from the glue and all that stuff. Yeah, that
blew a fireball into my face and burnt my eyelashes and my eyebrows.
Did you witness this?
Yeah,
you saw it go off.
And I was the best part. I was wearing a beanie, and so I had this tan line right here. But the worst part was it burned my eyeball.
Oh, Jesus
because
Christ.
I could not shut my eyes quick enough. It happened so fast.
Because he was staring at the igniter.
So my eyes were weeping for like 3 days. So I went into work the next day, and my boss is sitting in his office, and he has his back turned to me.
Did you blister?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Not bad. It was more of a flash burn.
Yeah.
You know? But my boss was sitting facing away from me, and I was like, so, just kind of getting the run of the day or whatever, and where our crews were and everything. And he could tell something was wrong with my voice because I was kind of wincing a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And he turned around. He's like, good God. And he goes, what the fuck happened to you? And so I had to tell him the story. And he laughed and laughed and laughed. And then after all that, he goes, why'd you even come to work today? He goes, you need to go home and doctor your eyes and take care of your eyes and shit. Because my eyes were just literally like weeping.
Yeah, he was trying to code everything.
But learned my lesson. I still have that potato gun.
Did you ever fire it after that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Just, you don't look down the barrel. And when it's got a 5-foot barrel, you can't really look down it anyways,
But you could have pointed it towards a mirror.
I know. Look, every hindsight's 50-50, brother.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I never would have thought. I mean, now I know, but I didn't. I thought it was going to be
How long
innocuous.
ago was that? Was that 15 years ago?
It was at least 12 or 13 years ago.
Yeah. And I was being serious when we can't tell the story, because there was a period there where it wasn't allowed to be brought up at all.
I was a little butthurt because I did feel like a complete dipshit. I mean, I still feel stupid about it, but I didn't know any better.
But it's an entry in your mistakeopedia.
Have you ever seen the movie The Wall?
Pink Floyd?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. You know the scene where Pink is shaving his eyebrows?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he looked like.
I don't guess I've seen that movie.
Oh, you need to see it.
I've not been that high.
Yeah.
Okay. What other bullshit stories can we tell?
I got a funny story. The only time I'm aware that I've made Brad mad, as we were in his garage, and he bent over to tie his shoes, and do something off the ground, and I picked up the air compressor and I went right in his ear, blew his cap off. I didn't know. He must have had 180 pounds coming out of that thing. It got him right in the ear, and
you deserved that.
I looked at him and I thought, oh, he's actually mad.
Oh, I was mad.
But it scared the dick off of him, man. It was so his hair. He had long hair in his beard, and it just went flattened out.
Yeah, my air compressor stays at 150.
Yeah, I was about to say it was way more. I just didn't think about the pressure, and it was
I mean, ultimately, isn't that the common theme in all of our stories along those lines? Is
we didn't think.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't think that one through.
Yeah, I didn't.
But the older I've gotten, the more I will puzzle something out before I ever even start on it. So, speaking of which, I can't make sense of this, but I have to tell you. Remember, I told you my PCB board got fried on my pool?
Yeah, did you get it in?
No, it's not supposed to be here till Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I went to walk Leonard last night or this morning at like 1:30 in the morning. My pool was running.
The fuck were you doing up that late?
Dog wanted out.
Oh.
I mean, I was going to bed.
Man, I was lights off by 10:15.
Yeah, but you're an old man.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
I nailed my whoop recovery though, so suck it, Bin Laden.
Yeah, I'm a late night guy because as soon as Paula nods off, I get to watch whatever I want to watch, and I go down. I watched a bunch of China bike show videos, and
when you say China bike show, are there American brands represented in the video, or is it all just?
So it's a lot of B2B stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it's a lot of
It's where the American companies go to
steal ideas.
stuff.
Yeah.
No. To source
there's
stuff.
a bunch of white people with cameras taking pictures. No, there's a lot of
At
carbon
least once
companies.
an episode. At least once, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of new products being released. the first 14 speed was
What?
released.
Yeah, 14 speed's a thing now.
How
So
does that?
stupid. And they're going to have a 2x14.
Oh my God.
Fuck. It's like a diesel. It's a rock
why?
hauler.
Like why? But
What was the gear? Do you remember what the gear range is on that?
no, I don't.
I mean, it'd have to be 1060.
No, I mean,
No, it's just closer ratios is ultimately all it is.
yeah.
Oh, they're not increasing really overall the biggest
They're not going for range. They're just going.
They're
for
minimizing
speed.
steps.
steps.
Yeah,
Yeah, but at some point, it's not. It doesn't matter.
yeah, but we've been saying that since 9-speed.
I'm about to say,
Oh,
it's-
no.
we hit peak gearing at 10 speed in my world, but that's just me.
The only problem with 10-speed is you still have to have a front derailleur in order to. The benefit of the 12-speed is you can have a bigger range without having huge gaps between, and you have a better functioning transmission.
I understand that.
I mean, back when we had 9-speed, most people were running triples.
Lots of triples. In the
Yeah,
9
so
speed.
you had arguably the same range you have now on a 1x12, which makes sense, but you have less moving parts.
Did you see the SRAM's mechanical transmission stuff that's out now?
Yeah, and I'm desperately trying to figure out how to get it on my Fargo before a race across Texas. The caveat to this whole thing is, so I now have a UDH dropout for my Fargo,
Okay.
so I can run the transmission, the 90, the mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
But currently, they only make a mountain bike.
Oh.
They don't make a drop bar
Yet.
right?
Oh,
yet.
wait a minute. I thought it was compatible with.
It's not electronic. Remember this?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it's still no, isn't it still? I thought it was supposed to be compatible with the pull.
No, it's a different ratio.
Okay.
So I don't understand why they would do that. Why they would go with a different pull ratio versus like a red.
Maybe I'm thinking of
something like
Shimano where they're getting all their pull ratios aligned.
But speaking of pull ratio, Ratio is the company that makes the
adapter.
kit, the adapter that is currently in my 11-speed drifter shifter that allows me to run 12-speed. So it came with, it's a new cog, a new mechanism that goes in the shifter.
The pulley thing.
Yeah, that has 12 instead of 11 or
You
11
change that.
instead of 10.
It's
It
easy
goes
to change
to
out.
12.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also the ramp that goes on your derailleur where the cable goes around.
That was Brad. That was
me.
Brad.
That changes. And the other addition is it has a barrel adjuster on the derailleur where when you run a mountain bike, if you're running a mountain bike derailleur and a mountain bike shifter, your barrel adjuster is up by your shifter. But when you run a STI style drop bar, you don't have a barrel adjuster, so you either put one in line or on the derailleur. So all that to be said, I have an email into Ratio to see when they're going to drop their kit to be compatible with the transmission.
I am interested in the 90 transmission on the El Jefe.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Yeah, so after running the
Episode 104 brought to you by SRAM.
hey, speaking of SRAM, when I was in at the last Ponderosa retreat I did, the leader of this retreat, she was asking me a question about something, and asking me if I traveled and did this in other places and stuff, and I go, yeah, actually,
Garbage truck.
Yeah. Garbage day.
I go, yeah, I was in Terlingua doing a photo shoot for a major bike component company, and without hesitation, she goes, was it SRAM? And I go, no, I wish. I'm a SRAM boy. I said, it was Shimano. She goes, oh, well, I know the founders of SRAM.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's cool. But then I don't even know who the founders of SRAM are. So I was going to say, who is that? And I wouldn't have even known if she was full of shit or not. But I was like, but then I started thinking, how in the hell do you know the founders of SRAM? You know?
People got friends.
That was pretty wild.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, it was founded by somebody,
Yeah.
and
I don't know who the founder of Shimano is either.
Mr.
it's
Shimano.
Mr. Shimano.
Yeah. Harigoso Sharamami.
But yeah, the SRAM founders. I mean, they came out with the twist grip back in what, mid
Grip
'90s.
shift. Was it grip shift?
Yeah, I think.
And it was
1987 by Stan Day in Chicago.
what? Oh yeah, that's right. That makes sense because she was from
Oh.
Chicago.
Do you know what SRAM stands for?
No, but hold on. When it was grip shift, it was a different company. It was because SRAM transitioned. I'm trying to remember because it wasn't originally SRAM. It was like, and I want to say ESI, but that's not right. It was something else that I'm not.
I mean, they may
remembering
have
right
had
now.
a different name prior to SRAM, but it was my understanding it's
Yeah.
the same outfit.
Yeah. I'm saying they transitioned their name.
It's possible.
Yeah.
That was before my time.
The
Yeah.
original name is it's an acronym taking letters from the founder's name, Scott, Ray, Sam, and they entered the market developing the grip shift.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
That's
what
it.
was their name at that time? Was it SRAM?
I thought it was always SRAM, but like I said,
Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it's a Mandela effect.
maybe.
Hey, we went from
We're all over.
pool control units to walking dogs late at night to me going to bed early to 14 speeds in China.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Welcome to ShiftLess.
Wow. Go back. What was going on at 1:30 in the morning with your pool when you were walking Leo
So historically,
or Leonard? Sorry,
Is it Leo or Leonard?
I call him Leo because it's short.
Leonard is his official name, but Leo is,
Paula's name.
yeah, Paula calls him Leo.
Oh, see, you are calling him that.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I call him Leonard.
Okay.
She calls him Leo.
Okay.
I'm confused.
His mama call him Leonard. I'm going to call him Leonard,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Sorry, that was a
I don't get it. but-
coming to America joke.
Oh, okay.
Historically, when we have a power outage, my pool equipment resets to the date and time that it was programmed from the factory. So it goes back to 2004. And so it messes up my program because I have a program for my pool to come on at a certain time and go off at a certain time. So it'll run in that program, but it doesn't know what time it is. So but when we had this last power outage, my pool equipment would not come back on.
Okay.
So I troubleshot the whole thing and determined that the board was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get the board to power up, checked power at every point in the whole breaker box and coming off because it downgrades the power from 240 to 120. And then from 120, it goes through a reducer, a transformer down to 24 volts. So it's low voltage for all the switch operations to power on the pump. You know, the pump's powered,
Yep.
but it has a switch that powers it on and off.
Yep.
And that's all ran through the board. Well, the board was getting power, but there was no power coming out of the board. And I looked at everything. I checked the fuse.
Did you?
Yep. And I checked the capacitors and everything. And I couldn't find anything physically wrong with the board, you know, visually. So I was like, well, shit, I'm just going to have to replace the board. So I found one and ordered it. And like I said, I'm walking Leonard at 1:30 in the morning.
Were you walking behind the house? Is that how you heard it running?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was like, what? The pool's running? And I just didn't even know how to process it because
What would have caused that?
I don't know. I did everything I could. Like I reset the breakers multiple times. I took the board completely apart, put it all back together,
Weird.
checked everything I could possibly think to check. Like I said, I was back there with my multimeter for almost 2 hours, just checking everything, checking all my connections and everything. And then eventually just went, well, I'm going to order a new board and hopefully that fixes it. And then lo and behold, this morning,
Does that board have a power switch to turn it the output on and off?
no,
Because I don't really know what we're physically talking about. Like I don't know what it looks like.
Well, I mean, I've got pictures and stuff, but
I don't want to see.
that doesn't radio well.
It's got diodes and transistors and shit on it.
Okay.
But it's got its own breaker box.
Yep.
And so it's got power coming in, and then it gets divvied up into the breaker box.
That was Kevin. That was Kevin.
And then from that, like I said, each one of those breakers legs out to individual pieces of equipment, like the pump, the filter pump, the cleaner, the my lights, all that kind of stuff. And then all that stuff is then legged through the control board, and then the control board has low voltage that comes to basically these electrical manifolds, if you will, and when it sends a signal, it closes the gate and turns a switch on. And so now the power is allowed to flow to the pump, so the pump's on. Well, all that's controlled through that board.
Is that a normal thing if you own a pool for it to go out?
I mean, the pool's 15 years old.
Is it the first time you
Or
replaced
older than that.
thought you've had to replace the board?
Dude, I've replaced everything on that
Good.
pool.
This is just another story for me to tell Kay why we don't need a pool.
Dude, don't.
Pools and boats.
Yeah. It's always
No,
better.
you will never hear me tell her we don't need a boat.
I understand,
I want a
but
boat.
you don't need a boat. But anyway,
It's always
I don't
better
have a place to put a boat. Can't park it here.
It's always better. to have
Brad
a
told me if I
friend.
buy a boat, I can park it at his spot, at his house. He said he's got plenty of room to park that boat.
It's always better to have a friend with a boat or a pool
yep.
than it is to own a boat
Yeah.
or a pool.
Yeah.
That being said, I have a completely love-hate relationship with my pool.
Sure. You love it on
I love
love
it.
it when you're in it.
Sunday rides, post ride.
Well, I love it when it's lined out. Like right now, it's green,
humming. Oh, no.
green and nasty. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the things I have to do at some point in the next couple of days is shock it and brush it and get all the shit out of it.
Is it not cost effective to have that service done? Is it expensive to have someone come out and take care of that shit?
Yeah, and those guys don't even
And they don't do it.
they don't even do a good job. Our last pool company
If only you
fired
had
us.
If only you had
Episode 104, not brought to you by Pool Be Clean.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if you had help living in your house. Imagine that it wasn't just you and Paula there, and there were people who were arguably younger,
But not littler.
stronger, maybe even said. Some of those boys in that house are.
Well, Kieran does help.
Does he?
I mean, he does yard work and he does pool work, mostly getting debris out of the pool and stuff. But
Maybe if we're not spending time
chemicals, and
racing drifter carts.
stuff. Gage did purchase a drifter cart.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you
He
this.
came out. I'm sitting to the left of Brad's truck in the driveway, and I see him coming out of the garage, but I can't tell what he has in his hand because I'm almost to where the back seat, the driver door and the rear door, so I don't really have a good point of view. So I kind of see him come out, and he's got something red, and I'm sitting down, and then I hear this, and I turn and look, and he's in a cart that looks like it's made for a 4-year-old with his knees up to his ears, and he's going down the driveway moving, but the cart is tilted or turned at a 45-degree angle, and he's working these levers, and he's making it look like it's difficult to maintain control. It was an unexpected, confusing visual.
It's quite hysterical.
So where does he ride that or drive?
He just got it yesterday.
Well, I mean, he has to have somewhere in mind.
Last night when I got in from riding, he was drifting around the dining room table in the house. Because when I left to go for my ride, he was about to get on it and start riding. And I go, "You're not riding that in the house." And he goes, "Dad." And I go, "Here's the thing." I said, and I looked him dead square in the eye. I said, "If you break anything in this house or you damage the wall or a door or anything, you are paying a professional to fix it."
I think Brad's heard that claim from Paula at somewhere.
Yes.
He had it
He's
down.
just regurgitating something that's been told to him.
No, because this is the follow-up. I said, because I am not letting you just buy the materials and me do it for the cost.
Yeah.
I said, I don't have enough shit to worry about
Yeah.
around this house without you causing damage. So, and he shook my hand and he goes, "I promise." And I go, "Okay." So
Speaking of enough shit to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
and going back in circles on our previous stories, so we had done pool,
Oh, refrigerator, hot water heater.
refrigerator, hot water heater, SRAM
Mm-hmm.
from Ponderosa Guest Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
More shit on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
We're putting you to work
Mm-hmm.
at Ponderosa.
I'm excited, actually.
Chef's Kiss
Mm-hmm.
Bike Packing Weekend is officially a thing. Well, it's not. Sign up has not opened yet, but
I've already had at least 3 people ask me about it. At least 3.
okay.
I mean, that's huge.
That's gigantic considering we're going to cap it at 12. So,
Oh,
do you have a menu in mind yet?
I haven't even thought about it.
All right. Are you going to do the fam thing and just spring it on us, or are we going to talk about it ahead of? Oh, you're going to spring it on us.
I mean, I'll let you know.
No, I understand.
Yeah. I'm currently writing a menu for my dinner this weekend. So
Okay.
I'm in negotiating 2 other pop-up dinners that are going to be catered at somebody's house. So I've got I'm a busy guy.
You are a busy guy.
You know.
Welcome to my world.
I will make this promise. The food will be plentiful, it will be filling, and it will be delicious.
Well, I can't ask for
Yeah.
any more than that.
And we're doing 2 meals, right? We're doing dinner and breakfast.
We're doing Saturday morning breakfast
Mm-hmm.
and Saturday evening dinner,
Okay.
and
So-
then grab and go breakfast Sunday morning.
So we'll do Saturday breakfast at 4R,
Correct.
and then we'll do Saturday evening
At Ponderosa.
at Ponderosa. And we can talk about this later, but I just want, for my edification.
Sure.
So we can stage stuff at Ponderosa. I don't have to carry everything on my bike.
You will not. We may not be staging it there. We'll have a shuttle, if nothing else, if we're not able to. Yeah, you
Okay.
won't be carrying it.
Yeah.
All you need to carry on your bike is yourself and whatever you want for that bicycle trip.
Yeah. Okay.
And that will apply to anybody that
Yeah.
goes. If anybody wants to bike pack the whole thing, they're welcome to. If they want their gear shuttled, we'll arrange for that. If folks don't have all the camping gear, I've got extra tents and stuff. We can make that available.
Yeah. There's cabins for rent.
There will be cabins for rent if somebody,
Or if you're feeling special, you can stay in the bus.
I consider that a cabin in this environment.
Yeah. But it's cool.
It is cool.
And they all have outdoor showers, and it's a cool experience.
I am looking extremely forward to this,
Yeah. Same.
and I'm wanting to roll this as a proof of concept, and maybe
Maybe it's a thing.
it's a thing. Maybe it's FAM too.
That would be cool.
The mobile version is what I'd like.
That would be
like it to
cool.
become.
I'm trying to.
Famistry?
No,
Terrible.
no,
Terrible.
No,
Delete that. Delete it. Delete it.
that's why you're working from home, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like a one-man think tank.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something funny about being a think something else besides a tank. But I didn't
Too
do
late.
anything funny.
Too
Yeah,
late.
it's past. It's past.
Are-
I like to notate my failures, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Are you still planning to be able to join us that weekend?
Yeah, remind me which one that is.
June 7th and 8th?
Let me double check.
Because I would really, really, really like to do another
Yeah, send me a calendar.
live,
Yeah.
Send me a calendar invite.
a live shiftless recording.
Can you mic me up while I'm cooking?
In a way, we could possibly pull that off.
Yeah.
Send me a calendar invite.
Send you a calendar invite?
Yeah.
I'm not letting you into my family calendar.
Oh, you don't have to have a family calendar, do you? I don't know how to do all that stuff.
All right, so you're committed. You're definitely committed. I'm committed.
Only if the shirt is teal.
I'm going to carry everything. I'm going to bike pack.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, everybody says that on day one, and it's amazing how many people on day two go, "Hey,
No, I'm not.
could you carry this one bag for me?" Sure.
Yeah,
and
no. I'm not going to. I did that. I did that the first time on Terralingual just because it was fun.
That was fun.
Well, no. The first year, I did bring a box. Second year, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, I bike packed too. Yeah, because I carried Red's tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We carried pretty much everything on the second time around.
What was I thinking of that I didn't? That you carried my stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm always carrying.
He carried your food
Oh
stuff.
no, he did carry my stuff.
He carried your food.
No, he carried my stuff.
Did we do boxes then too?
Yeah, because Garrett was giving us shit because he carried all his stuff and we didn't.
I know why. I'm getting it reversed. The first year, I did give Kevin a small box that had, because LSU was playing Bama that weekend, and I brought my iPad so I could use the Wi-Fi at the cafe to watch the game.
That's right. And you almost didn't make it the next year, the year that I went, because the Rangers.
Man, I love that story.
Yeah.
I don't regret any of that, and I still 100% would have stayed.
Well, okay, you need to tell that story now because 99% of the people listening to this have no idea what you're referring to.
Go back to episode 48 and
let's rewind. Let's rewind the tape. Go back to the tape. 2023 for Spinach Tree Palooza. The Rangers miraculously made it to the playoffs. No one thought that they would make it to the playoffs. They dominated the first round. No one thought they would dominate the first round. Second round, divisionals, go to the pennant. And all the while, we're thinking, oh, we got Spinach Tree Palooza coming up. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it came down to the week of World Series. And I told the guys that, hey, if the Rangers, if they don't close it in 6 games, I'm not going to Spinach Tree Palooza. I'll lose money. It's fine. I won't even. And Brad was like, you really would rather, I mean, you're gonna not go and watch it? Absolutely. And they won it the night before we were supposed to leave. And the first thing I did was call my dad. No, the first thing I did before I called anybody, I texted the group and said, see y'all in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I called my dad and cried with my dad because the Rangers won the World Series for the first time.
That was pretty awesome.
And we went and we had a fantastic Spinach Tree Palooza. Please tell me you're going to spin that back up. No pun intended with the spin, but any plans ever?
Too early to say. We're in transition mode now.
Yeah.
We don't know what exactly things will look like more than a couple months out at a time at the moment. I love the area. I would like to do more out there. I would, might shift it over towards Black Gap. But anyway, that's a different story.
So it's not a permanent no. It's a we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, where I was in my head a couple months ago, I thought it was a pretty solid no, because I just had to focus on shifting things to the east. I'm allowing myself flexibility for special projects.
Yep.
In my head at the moment, but I don't know what that looks like at the moment.
That's a very political answer.
The short answer is I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd rather you say I don't know than no or yes and not.
I want to spend time down there. I want to show people stuff down there. The logistics of it are tough. It's that simple.
So
yeah, it is. It's not an easy place.
It is not an easy thing.
Well, yeah, you definitely know working logistics down there now.
Yeah.
After your
You can't get anywhere fast down there unless it's off the highway. But other than that, like just, getting from where we stayed 2 miles north of Terlingua proper. I mean, it took us an hour to get to the trailhead. Not an hour. It takes a while to get places and get set up, and because you can't drive those roads fast. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How badass was that place we stayed in, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
We were
I'll never
so
be able to
spoiled.
afford something like that.
Yeah. So spoiled.
This place was like $1,500 a night, something like that.
Slept 3.
It could have slept 12.
Yeah. I mean, if we were still 25.
Did you notice the comment? And we can move on after this. But did you notice the riders, the talent, their house? They never saw it during the daylight until the morning they left.
Oh,
they
really?
never once saw the actual property in the daylight.
Oh, wow.
Because they'd get there at night
Yeah.
and leave before the morning.
Yeah,
That place was gorgeous. That was like a proper ranch house.
I never saw it.
You didn't see the photos? It's pretty. Yeah, there's the thing is if it doesn't end up being a proper Spinistry event, there's other ways around going down there and doing things. We can't do the long days because there's no way to refuel, but we can do what we did, which is kind of stay in a central location and just
Hub out.
just cloverleaf
Yeah.
different days and stuff,
Yeah, or shuttle.
Yeah, or we could, whether we rent a place to compound out of,
Or
we
just
could,
go down there and dirt bag it.
we can dirt back. There's multiple places you can dirt.
Oh,
we can do it we can do it in town and then ride and spend a couple of night or a night or two in the parks, and then come back out.
There's lots of ways to skin that cat, but most assuredly having some sort of support vehicle makes a huge difference.
Yeah, even if we could always. Bruce is down at his spot so much.
Does he go down there regularly?
Oh, he goes down there probably, he says, 6 to 8 times a year.
Okay.
And plans on eventually
relocating
a little closer. Maybe not on his property is incredibly difficult to build on.
I've
You've
been
been there. But we could have him drop off, 20 gallons of water and we're fine. He's got a pavilion and everything. We could go stay out of his spot. But anyway,
put a lockbox storage box in there and have them drop stuff.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful area. Like when you talk about this, kind of crossed my brain earlier when you're saying, when are you guys moving out of Texas? It's like, I love Texas. And the thing is, Texas is different everywhere. Like, East Texas is completely different than West Texas, and North Texas is completely different than South Texas. And then you have coastal Texas, and it's when you go down to Terlingua, you don't even feel like you're in Texas.
Oh, yeah. It's a different place. It's
Yeah.
a different world.
I have not seen that shirt before.
Because I just got it.
Yeah. Huh.
They're for sale on the Spinistry site.
Are they really?
Yeah. Would you like one?
I would.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Does it come in teal?
No.
Fuck.
It does not.
Hey,
that was the ShiftLess shirt, the brand new ShiftLess shirt that I just got in yesterday. This is the test one.
I like it.
Looks
I
good.
like it a lot.
Going back to Terlingua, the thing is none of us, well, Kevin may have, but none of us have been down there in the peak heat.
Oh.
No,
and
I won't.
I know, but we have it, and we go, it's hot down there, but how hot can it be? Let's just go down there and see. Let's go down and try. No, you can't. You really can't. Like, that's why
people die doing stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
We talked about making mistakes.
Yeah.
That's a mistake I don't want to make.
Yeah. Well, they close trails. Both the state park and the national park at times will completely close off those long trail, like the rim trail. I think they actually close it in the summer, so
but that
to
doesn't
keep the
stop
risk out.
There's nobody there to stop people from doing it, and that happened last year, and a couple people died.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the worst part. The worst thing you can do, if the weather is already so bad that they don't want you out there doing it, and you have to have a permit to do it anyway, and then you go out there without a permit, no one fucking knows you're there.
Yeah.
So if you get into a situation where you need help, they don't know you're out there.
Yeah.
There's no check-in system.
I mean, there are a lot of people that have zero comprehension of what backcountry wilderness means.
Yep.
There are people that go there that are shocked that they don't have cell phone coverage.
Yeah. There's
just
there's
on
a lot of
local,
people that are naively they're naive.
Yeah.
And they don't even need to be out there. Like, they have no business being out there. It's not even the ignorance of, I'm a experienced hiker, but I'm going to go do this anyway. I've seen people out there that have no business being out there.
Right.
Well, how many times have you ridden past Knob Hills and seen some guy coming off the trail where there's clearly it's closed, and he's got some department store e-bike and no helmet,
Yep. They're typically once or twice a year, at least once, either on North Shore, but it typically happens on Knob Hill.
That remark when I got started out, just not the e-bike part of it.
No, I'm just saying.
You ever had to hand out and give a bottle away?
Yeah.
Happens at least once or twice a year where you someone's like, I don't have any water. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing out here with no water?
But I've also had to stop and get water because I ran out of water.
Yeah, I've done that too. Yeah.
Here's the sad part, though, is I've at Knob Hill specifically, people taking their dogs for walks out there in the middle of the summer at the hottest, most humid.
Yep.
And I mean, I've been there for 3 dogs that didn't make it.
Jeez. At once?
No. Over
You
the years,
counted 3?
over the years.
Yeah, that's, I don't even like to think.
It's
it's
almost
heartbreaking.
always the same situation.
That is your fault.
Yeah.
The owner's fault.
But that's what I'm talking. These are people. They have no comprehension what it means to be 110 degrees in August in Texas
Yeah.
and hiking something. Oh, but it's shade.
Close to the ground and wearing a fur coat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and
Way to bring the room.
well, okay. Yeah,
Okay. What do we got to do?
Well,
Do you guys know Canyon is selling bikes on Amazon?
no, I'm gonna since we brought the room down, I'm gonna be serious now. I'm gonna dedicate this episode.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about this
Yeah.
for sure. Oh my God, I forgot about that. We should have.
Because we mentioned this last week.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
We mentioned the precursor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you I had to take her to the vet.
Mm.
Yeah, she gone.
Our love. You want me to do it?
Please.
Okay.
Fuck, I can't do this.
So a lot of times you guys hear little bumps and barks, and you hear people, dogs barking or bumping into the tables, and us talking about. We'll mention dogs by names and pet them around. And we lost a dear friend. We had to say goodbye to Luna,
Yeah.
which was a well loved, and she reciprocated that love without a doubt.
15 years she
15
gave.
years. That
Yeah.
was. It is one of the things that if you're a dog owner, you know, is when you show up to someone's house
Mm.
and you get greeted by the dog before you get greeted by the human, and it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's the routine. That's the, you know. Anyway,
Yeah.
but you know what? Almost 16 years, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a good girl.
She was a beauty.
We will
a good
miss
girl.
her for sure.
Yeah. It's weird.
Well, I packed my bike today.
Where are you going to ride? What are you going to do?
I don't know yet.
I got to go shop today, but my intention is to ride for sure. It looks like all the rain's cleared out
Yeah, we're not supposed to get any more rain.
until like mid next week or something.
I just got to find something not covered in water to actually ride.
Yeah. Did you see Hocamp sent a picture on the TNSS page or the TNBG post? He made it to the Crawford low water crossing yesterday. And he said, "What'd you guys do to the bridge?"
Where are we talking? What is this?
What's the Crawford low water crossing?
Not Crawford, Corbin.
Was it?
sorry.
Was there water over the top of it?
Yeah, not much though.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
I told him we avoided it because of the mud on the other side of it.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad. Doesn't look
But that thing was definitely
I'm
4 feet over water when we rode past it yesterday. That had to be. This flows into.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't tell what time that picture was taken, but it was taken yesterday.
Unless he took it this morning, it was posted 2 hours ago.
It's true. Maybe.
He's schooling today, isn't he?
I would think. I don't know.
He's on a geared mountain bike, full suspension mountain bike. Are we sure this has been Hocamp?
He's the one that posted it.
No, I know. I'm joking. I've just never seen him on a full suspension mountain bike before.
I didn't even pay attention. What bike is it?
He's got an Intense 951.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Him and Mark.
Mark both got one.
Yeah.
They're cute.
Mm-hmm. Some of the nicest people in the world.
Those
too.
guys
And
make me feel bad
That
for
is
how
as true as
unnice
it
I am.
gets.
Yeah.
And you should.
Mm-hmm.
You should. You need to take lessons from the Hocamps.
I know we all do. Be like the Hocamps.
All right, Brad. Send us out, would you please?
Yeah, go ride your bike.